Talking about ashes of creation, we have it all planned. Pharaoh's calling, through the divine portal we'll soar. Together we'll conquer like never before. Welcome to the inner shadows, where legends are made. A Twitch TV stream where we never fade, as the night embraces and the excitement grows. Join us on this journey as the story unfolds. Step into the inn, where secrets unfold. The hidden daggers where the stories are told. The stage is set, the lights begin to glow. Get ready, my friends, it's time for the show. We're streaming live across the Twitch TV land, talking about ashes of creation. We have it all planned. Pharaoh's calling, through the divine portal we'll soar. Together we'll conquer like never before. Welcome to the inner shadows, where legends are made. A Twitch TV stream where we never fade, as the night embraces and the excitement grows. Join us on this journey as the story unfolds. Step into the inn, where secrets unfold. The hidden daggers where the stories are told. The stage is set, the lights begin to glow. Get ready, my friends, it's
Good morning, everybody. How you doing on this fine Friday? I believe it is. Yes, it is. It's Friday morning, and I hope everyone is having a good day. Oh, looks like we got ads in progress, so we'll just hold off about 30 seconds before we really get started. Grab your coffee, guys. It's gonna be an interesting morning. I don't know how many of you guys have. Looks like the ads are about over. How many of you guys have been into PTR lately? I was in there last night. We've been doing some leveling runs, stuff like that. We still feel like the one that I put up on the stream has been pretty much still the best leveling run. However, with that being said, it looks like they've made changes to surplus coins, and right now we're not getting any coins. The quest is bugged, but if you jump the objects in the quest have been bugged, but if you jump on your horse and hit interact, you can still grab them in the air. So that's still possible. I'm sure they'll fix that soon. Um, but the surplus vendor is completely gone. So I think that they're doing a whole rework to the surplus thing. So, but what really matters is the experience. The experience is still the same, and so you can still level up. You're going to be minus some of the gear, but instead of being solo with the Sanctus gear, you're almost definitely going to need at least a few people in a group to go ahead and take those quests out. So keep that in mind if you are paying attention to the some of the best leveling routes going early on. One of the other changes that I noticed yesterday was that the gremlins no longer drop poop. They don't have droppings drop anymore south of Linehold. So if you were one of those poop farmers, know that it looks like that's come out on the PTR that there's no more poop available. So that area shouldn't be camped by level 25s anymore grinding poop. So hopefully that'll be good. But yeah, other than that, what are your guys' thoughts on the phase 3? Do you think that we're coming up from a delay? You know, I put a video out yesterday about kind of some lack of communication that I felt was going on from Intrepid. However, I will say that Steven, it's like he knew I was making the video, like right as I was getting ready to put it out. Good morning, Bosun. Right as I was getting ready to put it out, he put a statement out, which was at like 8 or 9 my time, which is very early for him, which had been 7 o'clock in the morning for him. That's early for him to be up and on Discord. But he put a message out saying that they were going to go ahead and keep the PTR kind of normal schedule for this week. I don't know if he really went into specifics on what kind of snag they hit or whatnot, and that's fine. But they did let us know, and that was the key takeaway. That's all I was asking for, was just for them to be a little bit more transparent with their communication. Because here's what I'm concerned about. Over the time that we've had, and you guys let me know your thoughts, but over time, from the time that the PTR is opened, we've been kind of losing players more and more and more. And they were so desperate to get to some PTR players in there that they opened up to a huge, vast number of people who didn't have PTR. Well, now all those players are in. So if those players fall off for whatever reason, whether it's lack of communication or the times or whatever, or they get bored, where do they turn to? That's my biggest question. If they lose those people, they'll just have a few people here and there trickling in. But that is a vast majority of the players right now. So if they lose them, what do they do? Will they have enough players to test this game? That's where my concern lies. So that's where I feel where communication needs to be important, along with, the patch notes somewhat, but not so much. I would just like, if they change something important, it should be in the patch notes so we can adjust when we're going ahead and grinding or doing whatever for them, trying to test what they're doing. How you doing, Bosun? What's up on this fine Friday morning? I hope you had a good week and you're probably getting ready to relax soon. I'm just sipping my coffee. I got doing this stream today, put the video out yesterday, and I probably will be on tomorrow morning. And then I got the Golden Feather Tavern tomorrow night, so I'm gonna be kind of busy taking care of that stuff. I was playing for a little bit this morning. I don't know. I can't really get into playing the old account right now. I don't know. There's just no point. There's hardly anybody leveling up. I was killing some people at Highwaymen, some mobs at Highwaymen with another cleric. But yeah, other than that, good. Got the day off. Oh, nice. Some co-workers are volunteering at a local. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. VA shelters are great. I love those. those and like the VFWs and stuff like that. Uh, I actually got married at a VFW. Uh, I've never been into big expensive weddings or anything like that, so that was fine for me. So, what do you think, Bozen? If I had to ask you today, after what you've seen in the PTR, since we haven't seen the anvils yet, since we haven't really seen any kind of economic update, um, what are your thoughts? Do you think do you think the phase 3 is going to be delayed, especially after their comments, Stevens? Development as a moving train and stuff like that, and we'll see where we're at in a few weeks. Do you think that there's going to be a delay? I don't think it, but it does seem like they are kind of pondering the decision. So my question would be, what is possibly holding them back? What do they have? I don't think it's dynamic gridding, because he said himself that they were happy with their test that they had on Tuesday with the dynamic gridding. So my question is, what is going on behind the scenes that might possibly put a delay in? And my thoughts are, maybe it's something with the economic system, like the static gathering and stuff like that. Because if that stuff is still in, I think the community is going to be in an uproar. So that would be bad if they rolled out with the same stuff that they've had the last few phases. That's the only thing I can think about. I mean, we already know that the summoner is going to be delayed. The dynamic gridding seems to be in a decent place. Maybe the anvils is not ready yet. I don't know. Well, what are your guys' thoughts, and what do you think is the reason that we could see a possible delay? And trust me, I'm hoping we don't. I don't go back to work until the 14th, so that would for me personally, that would really suck. And I know others have taken some time off, so that would suck for them. I like it when they stick to their dates, and they have that caveat in there where they put in where they've said that all the content that they've said that are expected to be in the phases might not be there. So that kind of gets them out of any, which was the smartest thing that they could have said. That kind of gets them out of any trouble. But will they roll it out without those major changes? One thing for the most part they've been consistent with is the major posted schedule. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. A lot of people say they haven't been sticking to their schedule, but I say that they have been sticking to their schedule. It's just that they've, in some cases had to go behind what they've said before, that all the content that they've, planned to have out just wasn't ready yet. So that's understandable. And honestly, is it really going to matter? Look, even if the economic stuff is not in, okay, let's say it isn't. You still roll out phase 3 with what you have, and you do another fresh start. In my opinion, we're gonna need fresh starts every probably 3 months, because they've got so much stuff coming in. We're gonna need to keep testing this stuff. So if it's not already yet, so be it. The dynamic rating should be good to go. If we have to roll another few months with a, maybe better economic system, but not exactly what we're looking for, then so be it until they get it fixed. But you're right. I do think that they should stick to the dates. I think that is a stigma that gets put with companies and will stay with them if they don't stick to dates. So that's never a good thing. Freya, stop it, honey. Stop it. Quit messing with that. So we'll see. What do you think? What do you think would be the major holdup, Bozen? Do you think it's the anvils or the economic system? In your mind, what do you think would hold them back? Or anybody else in chat here? Welcome, guys. Happy Friday. I'm glad everyone's showing up, and I hope everyone's excited for a good weekend. I'm just enjoying my coffee, just relaxing. Gonna do just a chill stream today. Hopefully get some good conversations with you guys. No, I don't want you to close the door and lock her in here. Okay. You want? How about you let her outside and then you can feed her? Yeah. Okay, go outside, Freya. My dog's being. Go outside, sweetie. Go outside. So yeah, what are your guys' thoughts? Do you guys think that that it's gonna get delayed? I don't, but we'll see. You never know. Uh, it would have to be something major, and of course, I would imagine that Steven would come out and communicate that with us. Look, guys, this wasn't done. This something here went horribly wrong, and yeah, we have. This is why we have to delay. And that's and in my video, yesterday that I put out, that was really all it was about was communication because you don't want to lose more testers. And let's face it, the Pacific Standard Time testing that they have is not the best for a lot of people in their work schedule. So I know when I'm at work, I can barely make those things. By the time I get home and get the patch downloaded, it's over. So for me and quite a few other people, it's just bad hours, and you got to figure that most of the country is probably not going to be able to participate in that at least well. So I can understand that. And I don't want them to hemorrhage more players because I don't know if you guys caught it early on, but what my biggest concern is, they just opened the floodgates to all the other accounts who owned Alpha 2. And if they lose those people, if those testers get disinterested in testing, then what do you do? Who do you bring in now? That was the biggest influx of players that they've had. Alpha 1 had about 10,000 players, and we know that many of those did not show up. Then they went to Alpha 2, a portion of them, the Voyager packages, and now they pretty much went to everybody in Alpha 2. Even new people coming in are going to get access to PTR. So if you lose those people, if those people get disinterested, what do you do? Will we have enough people to keep testing this game? The economy delayed for several patches now. I would assume that they don't want the economy to. I would agree with that they don't want to. Yeah, it would absolutely did. I'm sure they want to ensure all major known hacks and stuff like that. Well, they did. Yeah, New World lost a ton of people. Absolutely. I completely agree with that. I think that the player base would be very frustrated if there was another broken economy. And if there was, I would say, if for whatever reason, maybe they weren't ready, they released it on August 4th. If the economy got ruined right away, I would almost say, you know what? Let the players know. Say, hey guys, this happened. We did a fresh start. We got some really great data, but the economy was broken again. We're not going to wait 3 months before we restart it. We're going to restart it, next week or something like that, and have it go on for like a month and then restart it again. I am not opposed to them constantly restarting it. I really am not. I think it's good data for them because that's when players are at their sweatiest. And if you're one of those players that just doesn't want to keep leveling over and over, then fine, take a break. But a lot of us, we're testing the systems, we're testing the quests, we're testing the mobs to see which ones are giving experience, are there ones that are giving too much experience, stuff like that. So it's important that stuff gets tested, especially if the speed hacks on the caravan. Yeah, absolutely. Well, that they mentioned in the stream, Bosun, they mentioned that they have some kind of tech where it helps identify that kind of stuff, but they were still fine tuning it because they didn't want to have any like bans or people getting kicked out that possibly didn't deserve it, stuff like that. So they said it sounded like they were close, but not there yet. Hey, how you doing, Nakuno? Got a first-time chatter there. How you doing? Welcome to the channel. With the current state of the game, the economy will be effed in hours and days. If it stays, if the economy stays like that, yeah, it certainly will, Piloto. If they're fine-tuning it, there may be a delay. They should release it and get it fixed, reset. Yeah, that's kind of what I think, Nikuno, too. I think that they should stick to the date, but if for whatever reason it is borked, then let's not wait 3 months because people will lose interest. A lot of people will just stop playing because of the economy is messed up. And yes, you'll lose some people who don't want to level again, stuff like that, but just reset it after a month or something like that. Get a lot of valuable data, get a lot of people leveled up to 25. But if the economy is in a bad place, just reset it. Maybe that would even be a good opportunity to, if town is in before it levels up, um, maybe just to automatically put put a town in, put a stage to node 4 just to test it out to give players something to do, and then maybe reset it, something like that, if they have to. But yeah, they need to think about this carefully because a few bad decisions could go a long way. Hey, Morbid Angel, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Hope everyone's doing well. Happy Friday to everybody. Um, Again, I should be back tomorrow morning. I'm planning on streaming tomorrow morning, and don't forget to catch me on the Golden Feather Tavern tomorrow night. I want to say it's 6 p.m. my time that I'll be on their show. So, if you guys got any questions about what have you thought about the PTR so far, have you been enjoying it? Are you glad you're in there? One of the big changes that I noticed yesterday, and I said it when I first started the stream, was how we all went to the droppings to the Grims in the south. They're no longer dropping droppings. No more poop farmers from the southern Gremlins. So, and don't forget that there's an event quest now there too. I think it gives like 3 or 4,000 experience. So yeah, Golden Feather Tavern are good people. They're good people. Yeah, the one of the things I think that's going to be really important for us to do leveling up in this, guys, is and by the way, I did mention that the surplus coins seem to be under work too. So if you watch that video I made, realize that is probably changing. Um, One of the things that I think people sleep on are the events. You really, if you see an event pop, and just stop. I mean, they only usually take what 3 to 5 minutes or something like that. If there's enough players to do the event, stop, get some tags, do some damage, throw some heals, do whatever. But just grab that experience and those rewards real quick. You never know what you're going to get. So, and also, it looks like in the bags, at least in the PTR, that they've been adding the guild experience tokens. So that is a new change. Now, I wonder if you're going to have to go and do. I wonder how that's going to work if they changed it, or if you need to use Glint and those tokens to get the guild kind of experience. I personally think that they should take Glint out of the system. Hey, how you doing? Your mouth voice sucks. Oh my god, that name. Oh, I don't know how to. I don't know. Good morning. Um, Oh, wow. Um, yeah, I don't know how they're going to do the guild experience system. I've said it before. I think all players in the guild, no matter what they're doing, they should level up. They should give some experience to the guild. And their other idea with the trophies and the coins, that could like subsidize the guild for the real sweaty players. Call me ums. Okay, I'm gonna do that. There we go. Yeah, I'll call you ums. That sounds good. Uh, yeah, the crate runs. Yeah, I have not done a crate run yet. I am planning on doing one probably soon. We'll see how that goes. But I've been we've been still speed running and stuff like that, trying to see what's changed, what's not changed. Boza says the ring event was the Mato. Oh, you talking about the Titan ring event? Yeah, because they were going AFK there. In it sounds some people, most events will spawn after 1 hour, but I believe somebody said that some events are every 2 hours. But yes, that's a concern. They don't want people AFKing and doing nothing at an event, just sitting there. So I totally get that. I totally understand that. Somebody had mentioned last night in our chat that they kind of felt like if the event timer was up, that you shouldn't need to kill a certain amount of mobs or something like that for it to trigger. maybe if like if it was like the caravan one, you would just talk to the caravan guy if it was up and see if you could start it. That could be interesting. Um, but I don't know. I don't really have a problem with killing a few goblins. It just kind of shows that people are in the area. Um, what level did you get to? Yeah, I got to level 7 last night before I stopped. And I did something different last night. Um, while the other guys were testing something else, I just tried another grinding method. I grinded to level 4 on the Grims real quick. And then I grinded up on top on the goblins. I did only the stockade, the sweat of the brow, and I didn't even complete the sweat of the brow. And then the stone quest, and I did all those, and then I just grinded goblins. And the loot drops still on the goblins up there are still pretty good. I almost came away with a full inventory full of loot up there. So maybe that's going to stay, maybe it's not. I didn't feel like it was overpowered or anything like that. I mean, it's good for players to get a little bit of starting gear. So it's not a horrible thing. I was basically trying to see how I could do with grinding, doing that rubbish quest, and seeing if I can get an event. Now, 2 events popped, but I only got credit for one, like the Unruly Goblins. I only got credit for that one, which is only about 4,000 XP. I did get level 7 last night, but I think it was somewhere around 2 hours. So it wasn't anything fast, but if you consider the gear that I got, well, then, you know, maybe it wasn't too bad. But it release, if you get in right away, if you're lucky enough and blessed enough to get in right away, my advice to you would be to do the sweat of the brow, do the commission, talk to Talahad, but immediately run up towards the goblins on the bridge and wait in and help and get those events to pop. Not so much the horns of the betrayal or whatever. The horns of the betrayal one I think could be really good. I don't think personally that the experience given for the horns of betrayal is worthy of all the effort to do it. I think that quest should be 30,000 minimum. That's just my point of view for that one. Let me know if you've done the horns of betrayal. You got to do a lot of running around. You got to be in a group pretty much to do it. I think that one should be at least 30,000, or otherwise people just aren't going to. Most people don't do it. I ignore it. I don't know about you, but I ignore the horns of betrayal. So I think that's some feedback that we should put in. Either make it easier and only do one boss or something like that, and maybe make the boss a little bit harder, or up the experience. That's kind of my thought about that one. That event needs to change because it's just not getting enough interest. The Titan Ring event, good. The Spider event, good. The Gremlin event, fine. The Caravan Down event, good. The Unruly one, good. A lot of their events that they have are really good. And I have a feeling that they have some more events planned for us. The Wolf event, which they have in Briarmore, that's good. Hey, good morning, Vale, Miss Ward. How you doing? It's okay if you also get the undead commissions. What kind of experience are those ones given? I don't do the undead commissions too often. You know, the funny thing, Vale, is a lot of people don't realize that those commissions are often based off of day and nighttime. Like the night wolves and stuff like that they have you do. A lot of people don't know where to get those. And they don't realize that you have to kill them at nighttime. And the skeletons are the same. They only come out at nighttime. So, and that's kind of really cool. That's a kind of a cool mechanic that Intrepid put in. You have to really pay attention to that. But a lot of people are looking around, well, where are these? They're supposed to be here, but they're not here, stuff like that. I thought that was kind of a cool mechanic, and that's been in for some time. Those skeletons, though, you go out there too early, they can be bad touch. They can really cause a lot of problems, for sure. They hit hard, especially that purifier. So does it? What's everyone else's thoughts? Do other people think that we're looking at a possible delay for phase 3? I mean, what are you guys thinking? I got my coffee. It's a Friday. You know what? What do you guys have out in your area for Fridays for food? One of the things I like to get here on Fridays are I don't know if you guys got a Jewel by you, but out in the Chicago area we have a Jewel. It's just like a grocery store, but they got a big bucket of chicken tenders for $10. It's like 2.5 pounds of chicken tenders. It's a really good deal. I think I might get that later. I actually like the commission board. I think a lot of the things they've done with the commission board are pretty good. They up the experience a little bit. Oh, looks like we got an ad. We got an ad coming in a minute, 30 seconds, so I'll go ahead and grab a drink, but we'll take a quick break while that runs. Wasn't gonna say the commission, yeah, they did up the experience. I think there's a few of them where they maybe could up it a little bit more. Has anyone seen the Teddy commission? You remember the Ted commission? Get Ted dead or whatever like that. I think they took him out. Maybe because he would never respawn. I think they took poor Get Ted dead out. I miss Teddy. He was kind of fun over at the Lumber Mill Lost Quest. So that was kind of a bummer to see him gone. I hope that they put him back, but maybe he was more trouble than he was worth. Food trucks downtown are great, but all food right now is way too pricey, Bozen. I mean, honestly, you're better off just going to like Costco and buying a big pack of ground beef for $30 instead of going out to any kind of a fast food joint, because you'll spend the same amount and you'll get one meal as opposed to like 7 meals. So yeah, food is ridiculous. That's why you really have to bargain shop for the good deals for the specials. Otherwise, it's just not worth it. You don't think a P3 will be delayed? They have a big head start on us. Yeah, I think there's probably a lot of stuff we haven't seen yet in the PTR, but we'll see. I'm going to run an ad break real quick, guys, because it's coming up, so I'll be right back.
Feeling the thrill in the air, we're on our way, gathered here at the Hidden Dagger Inn. Ready to slay through the portal, we'll go into the unknown, facing the challenges together we've grown. In the world of Pharaoh, we'll make a mark, building our empires from dawn until dark. Adversity won't stop us, we'll never lose hope. With friendship as a weapon, we'll conquer and cope. Embrace the adventure, let the sparks ignite. In this journey we'll find our inner light. Hand in hand we'll rise above it all. United we won't stumble or fall. Feeling the thrill in the air, we're on our way, gathered here at the Hidden Dagger Inn. Ready to slay through the portal, we'll go into the unknown, facing the challenges together we've grown. In the world of Pharaoh, we'll make our mark, building our empires from dawn until dark. Adversity won't stop us, we'll never lose hope. With friendship as a weapon, we'll conquer and cope. Embrace the adventure, let the sparks ignite. Feeling the thrill in the air, we're on our way, gathered here at the Hidden Dagger Inn. Ready to slay through the portal, we'll go into the unknown.
Okay, guys, looks like we're back. So let's see what we got here. You got food trucks. You don't think Vale says you don't think P3 is going to be delayed because they have a big head start on us. I hope you're right. Yeah, I think they did get rid of all the mini boss. Yeah, yeah, I haven't seen them in a while, so maybe that's a good thing because, those aren't the best anyway. Vale, especially when you're trying to level up. I don't like quests where people have to wait too long to get the mobs. Those always create big bottlenecks, and I just don't like that. I don't like bottlenecks, especially as far as commissions go. Says I'm not sure what I want. I'd like to see a wipe either way. Give us whatever. Yeah, give us whatever is ready and keep testing. I absolutely agree, Vale. There's going to be a wipe. I mean, I was on this morning, and there's absolutely hardly anybody playing right now. So not only is there, I mean, we for sure have more people playing the PTR than we have playing the live version right now. But even the PTR, do you remember when they first opened up the PTR? There was people all over their place. It almost looked like a regular launch day. But then they people really started to taper off because they didn't really have that much stuff in there. Now they were doing focus testing, which I think is a good idea, but I think a lot of people were expecting a little bit more to see in the PTR, and this is one of my issues. There's a lot of people that don't understand the PTR, don't understand how it works, and maybe they had some false expectations of how the PTR worked. And their first impression when they first came into the PTR, I think maybe was underwhelming for them. And the question is, will they come back? And I've already seen a pretty steep drop off of players. I'd love to see the data to see if I'm right, but you can tell a lot from just looking around you, looking around the world. Yes, are there still a few hundred testers? Sure. But there was a lot more than that, and I don't see them logging in anymore. Now, will a majority of them log in when Summoner comes back or something like that? When something big comes back? Sure. Probably they will, because everyone will want to get a sneak peek of that. But that's what I'm really concerned about. What do you do if you don't have enough players going forward because they've just got disenchanted with the PTR or they don't like it? Is PTR going to stay up 24/7 after August 3rd? Probably not. It's probably going to go back to the same schedule. So I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they deal with it, because where do you get testers? Where if this big swath of testers it starts to disappear, where do we get them from? Do you open it up to beta people now? That's my biggest concern. Because let's face it, this game needs testers to test it. No, it hasn't. It exactly. And that was my frustration. I don't know if you guys saw my video yesterday and that I put up on YouTube, and it wasn't an attack on them. It wasn't meant to be an attack on them. It was just meant to be, hey guys, please, please value the tester's time, because a lot of times, I know I do. A lot of times, testers will set aside time to make sure that we're able to help test the game. And the fact that we weren't really able to do that because it'd be down, it'd be up, it'd be down, it'd be up, and then they went back to their same old hours. That was frustrating. And I'm glad, but again, like I said, Steven came out with this comment like right as I was dropping the video, so I quickly updated it and put it at the end. Steven's comment, and I really do appreciate Steven coming out and saying that, because that's exactly what I was looking for. Let's see what his exact statement was. You guys have probably already seen it, but let's pull up his exact statement about what that was. Let me see here, because that was really big. So good morning, everybody, glorious PTR testers. Congratulations. Tuesday was our first successful dynamic gridding test. We discovered some bugs, and that the team will be working on. But all in all, the test was better than expected. So as far as a gritting standpoint, that's awesome news. But he says over the next week, we need to bring the PTR realms down each night Pacific time for updates and internal testing. Originally, we had planned to be up 24/7 starting on the 14th, but that will likely now not be till July 25th. He said perhaps a few days earlier we will see. So that's exactly what I was looking for. Just a little bit of, I guess I would almost say just like common courtesy, because some people think, well, and I see it all the time on Reddit, because Reddit's a bunch of idiots. Let's face it, those guys, I don't even know why Steven looks at those guys. They see a thumbnail and then they got to chime in on a comment because they think they have an idea what you're talking about. They're a bunch of morons. But anyway, I digress. It's just important that being a tester is a two-way street. Yes, we paid to do it. Yeah, Redditors, my goodness. Yes, we paid to test. And that's exactly why Intrepid should give us the common courtesy of just keeping us updated. And yesterday they did that. So I really, really appreciate the fact that they did that. I would just like more of that. And I'd like them to try to be a little bit better with their patch notes so we can stay up on top of things. Anything big that they change, the small stuff I get, but anything big, it's no good to find out after the fact. So just let us know. The game takes 2 hours to get anything done. Yeah. Also, it takes a long time to download stuff like that, especially if you got like a potato for internet or a computer or something like that. You got to take that into consideration. So by the time you get home, the 1 hour away from taking it down, exactly. That's the problem I have with it too when I'm at my work schedule too. Yeah, exactly. Redditors I'll stick it over there on the weekends and I'll be happy to test. I'll test when I can. But it's just much easier for me to test when it's 24/7. I think most people would agree with that. They can just put up what they want us to test if it's up 24/7 and then let us test. I don't know if maybe it's a money concern because it's another server they have to keep up. I don't know. Is it a money thing? I'd like to think it's not, but it's possible. We have to take that in consideration. But yeah, here's the next question. What do you guys really want to see from the PTR this weekend? Or let's see, what did they say? When did they say it's going to be up again? On let me see. So they're shooting for the 25th, which gives them a little over 1 week to get everything hammered out. Yeah. Okay, so let's fast forward to the 25th, right? Which is what day? Let's see. 25th would be a Friday. So 1 week from today, they would be the July 25th. What do you want to see? What do you think that we absolutely need to see to feel comfortable that phase 3 is actually going to happen? I think you need to see the anvils for sure. You need to see the anvils. I'd like to see some economic changes. I'd like to make sure that there's no static gathering in. Those, to me, are real big issues. What do you guys think? I mean, I think those are... You need the second starting area in. Are they really far away from that? I don't know. I was encouraged to see that they said, they're adding those new two races in, the Nakua and the Pyre, which are already in, and they're pretty cool. But they did kind of put out a teaser that the Renkai is going to be out shortly after. So I'm excited about that. But I actually think that that's the way that they're planning on doing the testing, to keep it fresh, to keep people interested. Because if you put everything out at once, then you might have some interest falling off and lagging. But if you keep teasing people and bringing things back, like, hey guys, we got a new ship we're putting in. Hey guys, we're bringing in sport fishing now. Oh look, Renkai's here. Summoner's in. Stuff like that is going to keep bringing testers back, and that's what they need. So I'm really curious to see what your guys' thoughts are on what you think that they absolutely need in order to get this test underway. You want to see a node war or castle war? You know what, Bosun, I'm not going to lie to you when I say that I think that castle wars are probably one of Intrepid's best attributes for a game. I think what they have there is something very, very special, especially if they can get dynamic gridding to work properly. I think that that's going to be absolutely a core mechanic in their game and something that they can really build off of. It's so much so where I've said in the past that they should go to more of a DAOC model and put some like medium-sized castles in there where people can fight over on a daily basis, as opposed to trying to take over a castle once a month, having all the other prerequisites done. I think the castles could be the big bitch, but I think if they had lower level keeps that people could fight over kind of on a daily basis, that would affect some kind of node progression or something, open up a special dungeon or something like that. I think that could be a lot of fun. That's a really cool mechanic and a lot of times let's look at PvP, right? A lot of people don't like PvP because they feel like they're not very good at one-on-one or small scale PvP or something like that. So they tend to shy away from it because they just don't feel like they're good at it. And that's understandable. I understand that. That's why when you have like battles like Keeps or something like that, where somebody can run in and click on a door and then all of a sudden they'll be inside and they got the attackers outside. That's something that really everybody can kind of enjoy, right? You got these guys down there, you're up there, you get to fight and try to get them, you get to try to kill them. And you're in a little bit safer environment. You have a lot more people helping you out, healing you. It's a raid group, whatever. I think that's more enjoyable for people than maybe just the one-on-one PvP or the small-scale PvP. You would love to test some dungeon raid, expected to be under the tier 5. Well, yeah. Oh, you're talking about like the catacombs from the divine node? Oh, I think it's going to be a while before we see that, brother. You think says you think they need to have the economy changes? They hinted at it a while ago while players log on to see level 10 items at 30 gold. Yeah, no, I don't want to see that either. I'm glad they lowered the material cost for tier 2 costs, and yes, I am glad, and I am interested to see how this initiate this system that they have for crafting stuff works too. I think that could be interesting. I did note, I don't know about you guys, but in the PTR, did you notice a lot more tier 1 materials around the world and less of the other stuff? I kind of did. And you know what? I'm going to pay more attention to that. I'm going to run around the world tonight and see how much iron in Weirdstone and stuff like that I see, the tier 2 and tier 3 stuff. Pay attention to that tonight and see if you notice a lot more rubies and zinc and stuff like that lying around. A lot of those tier 1 materials. You didn't see many Western Larch. None, really. I'll have to... Did you look up north, like where Tumac was, in the south by New Ayla? Really? That's interesting. That's kind of a problem. So maybe Western Larch wasn't meant to be there. But we did, where we did see Western Larch was out in the Anvils. That's where we saw all the Western Larch. So maybe they're making Western Larch in that area. That's going to be their main tree. Oh, that would suck. Yeah, that would suck. Very interesting. Yeah, and the Graves Peak. Yeah, I'm going to have to... That's a great observation, So I'm going to have to go check that out later tonight. That's really good. That's smart. But yeah, maybe check the west for west. Yeah, exactly. We know it's not going to be in the tropics, and we know it's not going to be in the Jundark. You also exactly. Hey, Seda, how you doing? What's going on, my friend? That yes, that's real. That's a really good observation. And yeah, I didn't see any iron. I didn't see any weird stone stuff like that. One of my thoughts was I think that they should not enable the tier 2 and tier 3 materials to come into the world. There should be like something that that sets it off, right? Something that unlocks it. Like, so my thoughts are when a building, like when a tier 2 building comes up and somebody can build a tier 2 pickaxe, then all of a sudden now we can have spawns for halcyon and tin and slate and stuff like that. But until that building gets unlocked somewhere in the world of Vera, I don't think that that stuff should spawn, because it takes away from where those tier 1 materials can be, where people can start leveling up those early crafts. That's kind of my thoughts on it. Node hits tier 3. Oh, you're saying when the node hits tier 3 it should unlock? That would be okay too. You know, it would kind of gatekeep some people. So I don't know. I might personally go with when the tool gets unlocked, but you know, in some instances you have to wait for the node to hit tier 3 anyway, because you don't have enough building space. But having to go to Grave Peak or Anvils for a level 10 tool, this, yeah, it's not gonna be fabulous. I hope we see more of what we saw in, let's say, Jova this last phase. I think Jova did it right. I've been harping on mayors for the longest time. Look, first of all, if you're a mayor, you have to realize that there's responsibility. This is not a dick size measurement thing, right? You have to, you're there for the community. You're there for your community. You're there for the rest of the Vera. If you want people from Vera to come to your town, you should show that you're willing to work with the other mayors to make the most sense out of all your node buildings, right? So Jova and Nuela, for instance, putting up the trade bureaus to where you could do quick trade runs back and forth. And by the way, I love the road speed buffs. Those are very cool in the PTR if you haven't checked those out. Also, making the lumber mill, the journeyman lumber mill and the journeyman carpenter in the same node. That was huge. I mean, that's a one-stop shop, and that's what I've been arguing about. Yes, do they have to go to Azmoran for the axe? Yes, that kind of sucks. And I do believe that if whoever decides to put the tool to unlock the tool, whether it be the pick or the axe or whatever, they need to get more of a buff, right? Maybe give 10% rarity to people who are chopping wood in the area or something like that. You can't just give them, oh, you got the axe. That's not good enough. There needs to be something else for them to get. Otherwise, that's going to be the first building that goes down. People are going to get their axe, and then that building's going to go down, and there's not going to be any use for any reason for people to put that building back up. So they need to think about buffing that building a little bit. The anvils, not if the anvils is a starting zone. Yeah, anvils should be, you should be able to get a lot of tier 1 mats there as well, because it's going to be a starting zone, right? Factory for crafting. Yeah. You know what? And they did say that there's going to be more of those other buildings, like the experience shrine and stuff like that, and the trade bureaus, the stuff to make the commodities cheap. There's going to be a lot of other buildings like that they can put up too, which might be more beneficial leveling up early on. So we'll see where they go. I mean, I love that experience buff that you get in Mirrorlet. That's really good. Hey, what's up, Thogley? How you doing, buddy? I'm gonna give Mr. Thogley a shout out. Good morning, Mr. Thogley. Shout out to my favorite dwarf. There you go, my friend. Doing great. I'm glad to hear it, my friend. Glad to hear it. How are you making Lionhold a worse starting? Who's making Lionhold a worse starting? Oh no, I don't think you're making Lionhold a worse area. You know, I think that they've intentionally planned all along to have in different areas different materials. Western larch just might have been one of those materials that they came up with really early. But they could certainly move those trees somewhere else. And then, they'll have like maybe like if they'll have maples somewhere else, like far to the south or something like that. There's going to be all that kind of specific region materials that they're going to have in different areas. And that's what they need because they're going to want to have people running those caravans in those crates, to bring materials to other areas. And I think that was their whole design. So there's going to be a lot of region specific materials, at least in my mind. I think that was their plan all along. So maybe we're seeing too many materials in the Riverlands itself now. Maybe they just put the ones that they had out there. Maybe Eastern hemlock won't be in this area too. I mean, that would make sense, right? Yeah, we'll need to check. You know what I did notice? There was a lot of different kind of drops last night too. So they've added in a lot of different kinds of gear sets. Also, maybe delayed if they cannot get the starting zone to stop kicking people off online. I know they have 10,000 AI bots, but I think it's gonna if they get the anvils up and running. While I do think the anvils is gonna be more popular than Lionhold, at least this phase. Now, I still plan to go to Lionhold when we start out. But I think that if the dynamic gridding is working properly, while it might be a little bit slower, it's possible. If you split up those two zones, I think they'll handle it okay. As long as people realize that they have to, don't fart around in the area. Just get your quest and get out and go explore. I'm sure they feel the pressure to get it. Oh, yeah. But look, let's face it. It is just a P3 launch. So it doesn't have to be the smoothest. It really doesn't. You missed the March of the Dwarves. When was that? Last night, Thogley? I haven't. Uh-oh. Stream is reconnecting. What's going on here? My stream farting out on me here? Yeah, I was doing a speed run last night, but we'll see. Sorry, I got distracted by that stream giving me problems there. Was fun having a large group of dwarves march. Oh yeah, that's good role playing right there. That's good role playing. You even defended his honor. There you go. Good man. Good man. Oh yeah, I was saying about the tools. Yeah, I think it's really important that they added that in where you could make that literally your own little business, just doing the crafting store and stuff like that, just crafting tools. That's a good business, especially if you're making slate molds, which by the way I will not do slate molds anymore. I think it is the sound gone? No sound? Let's see. It was unstable for a second. Let's see what happens here. Let me restart my beacon just in case. 1 second, guys. Okay, how about now? Can you hear me now? Twitch was unstable a little bit for a second, so Dogley, do you have problems with can you hear me now? Testing. Anybody hear me? Hello. No? Still no? Stream's going unstable. Can you hear me now? Can anybody hear me? Bueller? Well, don't know what.